And we're live. And I'm here with his Jeffness, Jeff Miller.
Hi.
Star in his hand. And that's great. And he said off... What did you say off air about... something about being in a great mood?
I said I'm in such a good mood that my hands will make a cameo appearance in the video.
Very, very articulate.
So here they are.
So today it's this one. It's Powerplay. And I've put there Bronson / Clegg. Did you recognise him? Recognise any Doctor Who actors?
No.
No? No? No?
Yes, Ben. No is one of the answers to a yes or no question.
Right. Okay then. I will show you this on screen and I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Now, and it's a very unusual accent that he's doing in this. Do you know what accent this character had?
Just go ahead and assume my answers to everything is no.
Okay. This is Michael Sheard. Better known in the UK as Mr. Bronson in Grange Hill, in Pyramids of Mars. He's been in quite a few Doctor Who's. Michael Sheard. But he's doing a South African accent in this one. It's a very unusual it's an unusual performance by him because he usually uses the same voice. Whereas this is, I think he does a pretty good job of doing a South African accent and acting like a tough white South African of the time. So yeah, that's Michael Sheard, aka Mr. Bronson.
See, when I hear Bronson, I just think Charles Bronson. So. That's the only Bronson I know.
Right, so this episode benefited from a fight arranger, although on air I remember Morgan saying that it did strangle in the world, but
yeah, he was hugged until he passed out.
Right, so I will read this summary and then I'll go back to I'll leave it on there. The summary of the story is Powerplay. Avon and Dayna discover that a Federation force led by Captain Del Tarrant and Section Leader Clegg have taken over the Liberator. They suspect Avon and Dayna of being members of its crew. Avon dissembles, lying about his identity, and Tarrant knocks him out before Clegg can check his voice print. Meanwhile, Cally encounters Servalan on a hospital ship, and Vila is rescued by two primitives. They are seemingly attacked, but their assailants turn out to be beautiful women who tell Vila that they are here to help him. The Liberator, a recovered Avon and Dayna hide in the inspection channels and try to take back the ship, aided by the fact that someone among the Federation crew is killing the others. Dayna is captured by Clegg, and Avon discovers that the traitor in the ranks is Tarrant. The two of them rescue Dayna from Clegg and kill him and his men. Vila and Cally, reunited, learn from Servalan that their rescuers are in fact intending to kill them and use their organs in spare part surgery. They are teleported up at the last moment. They are teleported up at the absolute last second. Avon instructs Zen to accept voice commands from Dayna and Tarrant. They are part of the crew. So, I'll go over. I'll stop share screen for a moment. I'll ask Jeff. So, what are your thoughts of the episode?
What was the word you said in that summary? Dissembled?
Yeah, dissembled.
What's that mean?
Well, it's one of those posh words, and it is one of those words that I sometimes forget what it means. I am not one of these people who pretends to know more than they actually do. So I wrote it down. Dissemble. I've got it here. Conceal or disguise. Be hypocritical. So it's basically another way of being. It's avoiding the truth.
Hmm.
It's one of these posh. It is all to do with like you've got like ways of concealing the truth. Like you've got dissemble. You've got what's the other one? I like prevaricate as a word. But yeah, dissemble. Conceal or disguise. It's like, where some politicians don't want to be caught out in an outright lie, but someone like Donald Trump just doesn't care and just say an outright lie. They'll try to be evasive. I suppose it's a little bit being evasive. And twist.
I like the twist of the Tarrant dude not really being the Federation guy, but he's not as cool as Provine. So it's like the twist itself was good, but he's not as impressive a character. So it's a little bit of a letdown in that sense.
But given that Provine's about your favourite character, to be compared to Provine is no bad thing.
But it's like, yeah, it's just there's something missing from him. But I don't know. I mean, this one was not as boring as the last episode.
High praise.
It held my attention a little bit more, but it did seem to drag on a little bit too much run around on the ship, I guess, and then all the Vila's scenes are just, when he's not opening locks, he's just so useless.
Yeah, but what about the actor playing him though?
Yeah, he's effectively annoying.
Yeah, but I think it was a wonderful performance, Michael Keaton, and being funny, and he seems to amuse you on the recording.
Like it's a wonderful performance by characters that play like really creepy serial killers, and it can be, but it doesn't mean I want to keep seeing them. I'm just saying the character is annoying, and yes, he's effective at playing an annoying character. And I really don't care that much for Cally either. So the scenes with the two of them, I mean, that's like when I used to watch soap operas, when I would record them during the daytime when I was at school. I had limited time to watch when I got home anyway, because I had homework and sometimes work to do, depending on, how late in my childhood it was. And so I tended to have to fast forward through some stuff. And so there were certain, the good thing about soaps is that they usually sort of have that, like, separate scenes with certain characters or certain separate storylines are going on. So I could fast forward through the stories or the characters I didn't care about. And yeah, I would have done that with Cally and Vila scenes and Servalan. So all of them together was just so not fun to watch. But,
yeah, I mean, mainly this story is about establishing Tarrant.
Yeah, and apparently, I guess it's Tarrant 7 now because Blake is still nowhere to be found. 2 episodes in, and I'm starting to dock his pay because he hasn't showed up for work yet. For 2 episodes, and no Jenna. I mean, that automatically loses at least a point for that. Also, I mean, I don't know whose bright idea that was, but more of Vila and Cally and less Jenna is not a good thing. So.
Right.
Unless you've got somebody really exciting to take their place, and they really didn't. The so-called beautiful women were not really that great and didn't really do much. So, or the natives, which the one part that was kind of amusing to me was because I misunderstood, because the guy says he's hungry, give him something, and I thought he was telling Vila to give the big guy something because he was hungry. That was much funnier than the other way around.
That would have been funny, yes. If Vila had said, "I'm sorry, I've not got anything."
Yeah. And I didn't quite get I mean, is the deal that Zen is like he's set in some sort of mode where he can receive transmissions but can't send them because they're trying to keep it secret or something?
No, I think they were saying that they said that the communicator might be broke. The Vila's communicator might be damaged.
Okay, it seemed like that Zen was like reporting messages received from different people, but that none of those people received messages from Zen. So
yeah, because also we never heard Cally hear anything from Zen either.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's a little bit of a plot convenience. We do not know.
So, and I didn't really get what was up with the nurse chick being like, extinguish all life before we do surgery or something.
Well, yeah, so they can take the organs out. Because they want them for their organs.
Why were they doing that?
Well, you know what happens in India? Sometimes some people get mugged in India and they wake up and they've got a kidney missing.
Well, yeah, there was a Law and Order episode about that, but they weren't mugged. They were in a sort of a hospital thing.
Oh yeah, my point is that's why they were there. It's that is the ship. But I do understand the point that what's the point of like, they want to treat them nice, make them healthy before they then kill them and take their organs out.
Oh, so you're saying the ship, like their purpose for being there is to harvest the people's organs?
Yeah, it's just to harvest people's organs.
All right, that wasn't in your summary, so I didn't know.
Right. No.
I didn't quite get that part, so. But yeah, that's about all I got. I give it a 5.
I mean, were you like looking at something at the same time? Were you looking at? Because I thought I heard you comment on something else during the program.
Huh?
I thought I heard you comment on something else during the program.
Okay.
All right.
I made a few comments during the program, yes.
No, I mean, it's like I thought like something else had grabbed your attention.
I don't know. It might have at some point. I don't remember.
Whilst,
it looks like they sort of redecorated the bridge set a little bit. It looks like it's got some different colors added to it.
Well, they did it from a different angle. They're always trying to shoot it from a different angle.
Yeah, there's a little bit more blue or sort of blue-green than was there before, I think.
Yeah, they may have changed the lighting here.
They did lights, or they actually repainted stuff, but
yeah, the set gets pretty tatty this season. I mean, it's a very well designed set. It's just that the way they, the materials that they used, because it had to be reassembled because this studio would be reused for other shows, and so it gets a little bit tatty.
Was it disassembled or was it just disassembled?
Disassembled. It's Avon that does the disassembling. It's the scene shifters that do the
or is it that they disassembled by disassembling? It just makes me think of Short Circuit, number 5, saying, "No, disassemble."
So, I mean, it's testament to Michael Sheard's performance that you didn't recognize him.
Well, Pyramids of Mars was lousy, in my opinion, so I don't really remember the people from that very well. Most of them were under a lot of makeup or costumes or masks or something like what's his face, the evil guy who had a cool voice, even though the premise of him was kind of dumb.
Okay, let's see what we've got here.
But I don't know just what the name was in that.
Unfortunately. Would you like to look up which Doctor Who's Michael Sheard was in?
Maybe later.
Right. Oh, he was also right. He's also been in one of the ones you haven't seen yet of Doctor Who.
Okay. Well, you can refrain from mentioning that one then.
Yeah.
I wasn't really that impressed with him though in this. I mean, he's all right, but it wasn't like some spectacular performance.
Oh no! I mean, by the standards of Doctor Who, He's not getting a BAFTA anytime soon, but it was pretty good. It was a good enough performance. In the ability to do a South African accent quite well.
Yeah, obviously I don't know enough to be able to critique that very well, but I mean, he seemed all right for what the character needed to be, which was sort of just a thug guy for a while. So
I think Morgan was quite amused by that bit where Vila on his own.
that guy looked more familiar actually than the other guy. I think I've seen him in something before.
Yeah. It refers to him in the. I'll just quickly go through these grabs, and then I'll get to the comedy book. What types do you think Dayna and Tarrant are? MBTI types.
Well, I don't really know enough about Tarrant yet, though. From the last episode, you already said you thought Dayna was an SP, and she continues to sort of seem like that in this one. Talking about how she cares about results more than appearances.
About Tarrant.
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't really done that much so far.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could say first guess would be another SP because he obviously adapted to a situation, you know, where he had to pretend like he was a Federation officer and stuff, and had to, you know, think quickly to do things like knock out Avon when he thought the computer would recognize him and stuff like that. But of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not trying to say that only an SP would think of doing stuff like that, because that's obviously not true. But I just meant in terms of the adaptability part.
What did you think of the location? I mean, it didn't go to a gravel pit, did they?
No, it was probably the same forest that they used in the in like 5 or 6 other episodes where they were in a forest.
Oh, but like they went. You got interesting rock formations.
Amused by the fact that some parts of the ship are on video and some are on film.
Mentions that in the Maximum Power book. That will be. I'll be there in a few moments when we get to that book. But I like the look of the film better. Video, but
film looks older. That's part of the effect of it. Is it looks older. So it instantly looks like an older show when you go to the film parts.
I thought this one was prettier than the one on the left. I don't fancy yours much, Jeff.
Mine?
Yeah, yours is the one on the right.
Why is she mine?
Oh, it's just an old joke. Yeah, I'll put those things in because you like those subtitles.
Yes.
Instrumental music.
That really should be your thumbnail for all the episodes that have it, which is probably most of them.
How about this one?
Hence instrumental music, yeah. That's the thing about like one good thing about this show is if somebody wanted to do a parody of it, which I'm sure somebody has at some point, it's very ripe for parody. Some of those things. Stealthy instrumental music.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
That's even better.
That's why I took the photo.
Yeah,
there's always something good in a Blake 7 episode.
So far, that's my vote for the thumbnail right there.
The problem is
instrumental music.
The problem is with that is it wouldn't show up. I could try and crop it. See. Yes, what happened there? Really were scared.
We got a few butt shots in this one from the dudes. They were being equal opportunity. We got an Avon butt shot too when he was climbing up the shaft or whatever you want to call it in the ship.
Yeah, that looks like a painting behind him. So sort of like.
See, that's the thing is, I mean, you say he gives a good performance, but the thing is, in that part, it seemed like he was drugged. So I was like, is he really just being that goofy naturally, or did they put drugs in him or something?
What, for Vila?
Yeah.
Well, I just think he's good at being funny.
I mean, maybe I missed the part where they drugged him. If not, then it's just like, he's just so goofy.
What, pretending to be 10 men?
No, the part you just had on there where he's like going on and on about the chicks that brought him there or whatever, you know, like it's just this, you know, if they hadn't established him as a character the way they already had, then a scene like that I would think, oh, he's just sort of putting on a phony act for this person, but I don't think that's what it was. So
well, he's got an eye for the ladies as Vila. He's got an eye for the ladies.
Yeah, but it didn't even come off as like, well, it's because he attracted them. It just came off as him being weird.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
So, he's just kind of off-putting.
Right.
This guy kind of is too when he does his sort of fake grin thing, but he's not doing that. He's not as bad. And I want to water his hair, make some more chia head grow.
What you mean for Tarrant? Yeah, chia hair. Yeah. Right. So a little bit of exposition here, folks, about the Del Tarrant. I've been on the Federation wanted list for quite a while. My own ship. I was running contraband, getting myself mixed up in other people's wars. You know, the sort of thing.
Join us next time when we'll be introduced to the character Tarrant Della.
But now, you see, Avon has a pilot. Is a pilot.
Yeah, he's a big downgrade from Jenna in the pilot department.
Well, Jenna does look better.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Although the ladies did like Stephen Pacey.
Hey, I understand. Some people like chia heads. He looks a little bit like a tennis player, I think.
Yeah.
Not a specific one, just has that kind of look to him. You could picture him in a tennis outfit.
Right. Just exposition for the folks, then I'll get to the maximum power guide entry. Blag it. That means bluff, blag it. But he said bluff, but... this is when she says what the ship is. Jeff, the bank. And that's why they were patrolling for survivors. It's a slut. An organ bank. They store living tissue. There's a spare part surgery. And then Vila's reaction to hearing that news.
There's another good one you could use. It's not as good as the stealthy instrumental music, though, but it's right up there.
And then we've got the big model. The massive detail.
Shots of those screenshots. Send them to my brother.
Oh, I'll send you that one. The
no context.
Pardon?
I said with no context. It's just funnier that way to send them that picture.
The stealthy instrumental music or this one or both?
Yeah, either both. Any of those ones. But that one's especially good as a picture.
Right, we'll be on it in a moment. We'll be on the. Got to put some dials in there. I like some dials. There's. Oh, they're about to be zapped. That amused you, that line. I should introduce him now as at his best when he's unconscious.
Yeah, that was some world-class burn there from Avon. And he's right.
Hey, food is very useful when you want to get a door opened.
Yeah, I give his usefulness 6 out of 10.
How much do you give his usefulness?
6 out of 10 when you need a door open.
What about when you need that door open?
Otherwise, 1.
Right then. Here we go. Yeah, John Hollis played Lom, so the bald guy. So he's the guy you might recognise.
Was he on Doctor Who too?
I don't know. He may have been in some of the earlier ones, in the black and white ones. I'm not sure.
Because, you know, when it comes to most of these, that's probably where I'm going to recognize them from, if anything. Every once in a while, there'll be somebody I've seen in something else. Because there's a few other British shows that made it to America on PBS and stuff. So was David Maloney really uncredited, or did they just throw that in there as a joke?
No, I think he was, because what happened was David Maloney was the producer of the series. And I think that's actually true. Because they had these rules in those days, you know what I mean? They had like, that may have been true. I'll have a look at the proper book. Or the NF book, I suppose we can call it.
NF book, huh?
Yeah, I think the writers are NFs.
I don't think you've read me the NF parts before.
Well, you know. Well, the left wing parts. Right, what we got here? Right. Here we go, yes, David Maloney, uncredited. Time. Right.
They not
Former
allowed to be listed as
director.
director and producer?
Yeah, I think it was because it was at the last moment that David Maloney directed it. Because, as you know, when he was on Doctor Who, he was a director. And he did Genesis of the Daleks, he did Talons of Wenxiang, and some other ones you can name. Right, in a nutshell, let's see if there's anything there that you find funny.
I learned Dayna has a Y in her name from this. It's kind of odd spelling. I can't read that fast, Ben.
Which bit amused you?
The line about we already hate his smug guts. I'm like, if that's the case, then they ought to really hate Servalan, because she's even more smug than he is. And for no good reason.
It's Michael Majestic Shared.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, it bloody well is. Great.
Avon calling himself Chevron, too. I'm like, so he's named after the gas station?
Ah.
He the last second he decided to go with that instead of Shell or Texaco or Valero or Exxon or Mobil.
Yep, John Hollis played Lom.
That'd have been the real good thing if they'd combined, because later they said they call the high techs You know, if he had said, you know, Chevron with high tech Ron, then they would have got everything together.
Huh. Right, and then we've got the final slide.
What does that mean, one down?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I would have understood if it said he was dead, one down, but then it really would be two down because Gan died earlier. But so I didn't see the last two lines on that page because that was the last thing I saw. But
Right, okay. Well, if you let me know what you've read, then I'll know where you are, rather than guesswork.
One down is the last thing I read because that's what I commented on.
Okay.
I don't know if they're See, with this thing, I can never tell whether they're being serious or sarcastic. So I don't know if the thing about John Hollis is.
Yeah, I think I'll go along with that on there. I'll take that as straight. Played Lawman, seemed like a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine for what he did. Didn't have a whole lot to do, but yeah, I don't know who H is either. So
yeah, H is the name of an extra.
Okay.
They got him to write the foreword to the book.
All right.
They thought that would be nice and ironic, just to get an extra to write the foreword to the book.
All right then.
Rather than any actual stars.
I'm not sure what their obsession with the extras is, but
Well, one of the extras is H, I think, unless it's... maybe it's not in there, I don't know. Which bit amused you there, your Jaffness?
nothing about Vila's been picked up by women with big guns.
What about ZZ Top?
They look like Ben. Okay, come on, Ben. No, I'm not going to get on you for your British pronunciation of the letter. But if you're going to name the band, then you got to say ZZ Top because that's what their name is.
Okay.
We can go another half an hour on that if you want to. But
I'll say that ZZ Top then. There you go.
Okay then.
But I said ZZ Top to be humorous. Alright. And because I knew it would set you off.
Yeah. They're from Texas too.
Right. So yeah, big guns.
What I thought about Cally's telepathy was I was like, man, that's an awful long distance for her to get in touch with Vila. Like, I don't know how far her messages are supposed to be able to go, but...
Well, it depends what type of region of space she's in. Apparently, they always say, in this region of space, my powers tend to be amplified. Her telepathy powers are what is demanded by the plot.
Yeah, it's a good point about the Zen defense mechanisms.
Mm.
They should have made the other people have to see their nightmares or whatever it was that they made them go through at the beginning. When two of them saw like horrific images and Avon saw a couple of people chatting. He's like, no, people talking, it's my worst nightmare.
It's like, I mean, how many people would remember that who were watching it? I mean, percentage of the audience that would remember something from
I don't know, I guess the people that have been watching since the beginning, but nobody else.
Well, the really attentive people with no internet at the time, certainly no web at the time to discuss it.
All right, so who's Terry Walsh?
Terry Walsh is a stunt man. He used to look a little bit like John Pertwee, so he would sometimes be a stunt double to John Pertwee. Terry Walsh. And he's quite a shortish stunt man.
That's funny because Pertwee's pretty tall, isn't he?
Yeah. He was just a little bit shorter than Pertwee.
Oh, okay. Well, then, not that short. You just mean for a stunt man. Because a lot of them are really tall.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that he was shorter than Pertwee.
Okay.
Doing good. Maybe she has got a different pair of earrings. Maybe she had them in her pocket. I don't know. Maybe she bought them. I don't know.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Mm. A refreshing glass of green.
Green!
Now, I don't know if this bit's true about brushstrokes.
I don't even know what brushstrokes is, so I certainly wouldn't know.
It's
I'm assuming it's a television show.
It's an iffy, a sitcom, a sort of an ish sitcom that was sort of okay. I did watch it, but it wasn't great. I think that amused you about the knife. Maybe he was cleaning it and it went off.
Yeah, that was the best line she's had so far.
And she also delivered it in a certain way, where she went a bit posher towards the end.
I'll take your word for that.
Maybe he was cleaning it and it went off. And this bit here from Avon. Anyone killed them.
Yeah, that we both read Avon's mind before he said it. Like, wait,
Yeah.
Not anyone, not me.
And then that bit there. Which bit?
I like how they're bagging on the opening titles again.
Yes. And I actually checked like future edit again. Because I wondered if like they were going to mention every single.
That'd be kind of funny if they did.
That is true that she does act proud and then she starts moving her right arm.
Yeah, and Vila, like, it's like Cally makes it a point to firmly grab both of Vila's arms, so he should have had some pain in one of them. And he even mentions agony, but he doesn't act like she put him in any further agony by firmly grabbing his arms.
Well, maybe he was on painkillers at that point.
Yeah, I guess.
It is the future. Maybe they're flipping good. A truly terry-tastic space accident.
Yeah.
Now that is a reference to Only Fools and Horses, Derek. Because you've got Derek Trotto, who's called Del.
Okay.
How about this idea? Think how much better the series would have been if Tarrant had died in Powerplay and then pretend it's section leader Clegg who joins the crew.
Yeah, as like I said earlier, I'd rather pretend it was Provine. Because Clegg wasn't really that interesting either.
Yeah,
I don't know who Albert Steptoe is either.
Yeah, that's from Steptoe and Son, which is the British that was made into the American series Sandford and Son. So Albert Steptoe was the equivalent of Sanford.
That's a pretty hilarious image, imagining it as Fred Sanford.
Yeah, I mean, because they
would
even wrote that,
"You big dummy."
I mean, those. What was very good when I saw half of an episode of Sanford and Son, where what it actually would do is, because I like citing and giving proper attribution, where they would actually say, based on the script by Galton and Simpson, so they would actually credit the actual script that was adapted from the British original.
That was one of the few shows on TV that my dad actually liked, so he would sometimes watch that.
Yep. I'll just write down their names of the people.
Which people?
The writers.
Okay.
Of that, the original, except that it's Ray Galton and Alan Simpson. And they were the big...
Alan Simpson, the senator from Wyoming?
I think both alive. But yeah, and so they inspired John Sullivan, Galton and Simpson. They invented a character called Hancock. Although that was played by Tony Hancock, but they wrote it. But yeah, Ray Galton and Alan Simpson. Yeah, they created Steptoe and Son, that became Sanford and Son. I don't know what else they create. I don't know, but we'll talk about that off there. So overall,
maybe I should watch some of that instead of that horses thing. Watch some of the, because then I actually have sort of a frame of reference for it.
Okay, we could watch the first episode of. Some of them are in black and white, I think.
Even better.
Right. Okay, we could do that one time. We could watch an episode of Steptoe and Son. That'd be cool. Get your perspective on it. Yeah, that'd be great. So, how many out of 10 do you give it, Jeff?
5. I did say that earlier, but
One more than.
Yeah, it was a little bit less boring than last week.
Okay. Seeing as you gave Homicide, what did you give Homicide? Did you give it 6?
The most recent one we reviewed, I gave it a 6. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, what I would say about this episode is it's good. I would give it. I'll probably give it about that as well, by Blade 7 standards, because of the way the plot was wrapped up. But it was good. I don't know if I'm judging it by other standards, but I like the dialogue. I like the performance by Michael Keaton as Vila. It's just that
I just do my ratings by like my overall enjoyment of the episode, and so that's how I do it.
Oh.
So a 5 basically means that there was not something that was so egregious that I wanted to turn it off, but there also wasn't anything spectacular that made me go, "Oh, this is really exciting or interesting." It was just kind of there.
All right. I'll give it a 7 then.
All right.
So, join us next time, folks, for Volcano, and look forward to some stock footage.
And that'll be when Blake comes back. He comes flying out of the volcano lava.
You've not been looking ahead, have you, Jeff?
No. That's just my amazing wild guess based on the title.
Okay.
See if Gareth is going to finally earn his paycheck and show up again.
Only Fools and Horses 3-wheel van. A random little closing thing. So it's goodbye from me.
Hang on. Pepsi. The choice of a new generation.
Oh, let's kick on that. Let's dick on that. There we go. Pepsi, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to like Pepsi until it gave me heartburn.
Well, I take the heartburn medicine before that. You know.
Ah,
Before I
yes,
drink the Pepsi.
I have Rennies.
But you know, since they made the real sugar kind available, that's the stuff right there.
What, you like to have Pepsi with the sugar in?
Yeah, well, like you know, that's what I grew up on as a kid before they started replacing it with corn syrup.
Right. Hope it doesn't rot your teeth.
Anyway, on that note,
Yes, on that potted. So
bye
be careful,
bye.
kids. Right. Bye, kids. It's bye from me. And bye from his Jeffness.